Got my hat on. I haven't shaved, but take it off. Man, family, come on in. Come on in. Man, today's going to be rough. This is rough. Man, let me give you guys a minute before we get started. Man, I hope that the sound is good. The quality is okay. Um, Today's going to be a rough conversation, but it is what it is. Man, family. Raymond, what's up with you, brother? Man, man, family, we're going to go ahead and get started. Sitting here looking at my amethyst heart crystal that I rock with me, and then I have another amethyst. And I normally have these in my pocket every day. I'm sitting there holding them right now, just man. I have a lot on my mind. You know what I mean? Man, today's gonna be rough. And man, on behalf of my mother-in-law, man, I bless each and every one of you that come on this live. For those of you that catch this later on the YouTube replay, man, I bless you as well. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get a couple of announcements out the way, or one announcement out the way, and we'll go ahead and move into the topic. What's up with you, Libra Love? Man, so the announcement I just want to make and just let everybody know, man, for those of you that's been with me for a minute, man, you knew that I was married. The Queen and I are no longer together. We will not be getting back together. I just want to throw that out there. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. Man, there's no ill feeling. There's no hatred. There's no animosity. There's none of that. You know what I mean? I just wanted to let you guys know that, yeah, that was done. That was for a season. You know what I mean? What's up with you, Javon? That was for a season. Man, stay with me. We're going to go somewhere. Man, and I promise you it's going to be profound. Man, so today we're talking about um, brain fart. We're talking about the black sheep being crippled, being crippled. Man, it's a trip because I was getting ready for this message earlier this week, it's like, okay, God, what am I supposed to be talking about? God, what is it you want me to share with the people today? And it's like, man, that's always my prayer. That's always my cry. It's like, what is the message for the people? God, I need you to share with me. I need you to speak to me, speak through me as I speak to the people. You know what I mean? What is it that you want me to share with the Madam Majesty? What's up with you? And so as I was sitting there, and it's like, being crippled. So many of us are emotionally crippled. So many of us are crippled in our hearts. So many of us are crippled in our minds and in our thoughts. So many of us are crippled in our feelings. Stay with me. We're crippled spiritually. And it's a trip because God took me back to the scripture. And in the scripture, there's this guy, Saul. And Saul was king of Israel, and Saul had a son named Jonathan. And Jonathan and David were like best friends. They were like homies, ride or die. And Saul hated David because Saul knew that God had anointed David. Stay with me. I promise you, we're going somewhere. So here's Saul, the king of Israel, and he has his own family. You know what I mean? And Jonathan is his son. And Jonathan has a son named Mephibosheth. Stay with me. I'm just laying the foundation right now, right? So the king has a son named Jonathan. And Jonathan and David are like best friends. They love each other. And Jonathan knows that his father hates David, his homie, his friend, his partner. Jonathan knows that his daddy can't stand David because he knows that David has the hand of God on his life, that David has been the black sheep, that David was anointed to be king of Israel. And Saul doesn't want David to be king of Israel because Saul is king. Saul wants his own son to be king. Saul wants his grandson to be king. But Saul knows that, man, the hand of God is on David's life. Saul knows, man, God has called David to be the next king of Israel. And Saul's pissed because he's king right now. And God's already told him, man, your time's up. You know what I mean? Your reign is up. Your son will not be king. Your grandson will not. I'm doing a new thing. Stay with me. We're talking about the black sheep being crippled. And so there's a point in time where David is running from Saul. Because Saul wants to kill David. And here it is. Jonathan, the king's son, is looking out for his homie. Jonathan, the king's son, the guy who's next in command, the guy who's supposed to be the next king, don't want it. He don't want to be king because he knows he's not supposed to be king. He knows that it's supposed to go to David. And so Jonathan has to turn his back on his own daddy and choose his best friend. What's up with you, Dave Walker? And so Jonathan and David are having a conversation. And Jonathan tells David, man, look out for my family. Watch out for my family. That's what so many of us say, man, especially if you grew up in the hood. Because you never know when it's your time to come, when it's your time to go. Death is always right around the corner. And so, man, many of us, like, man, especially in the military, you out the war, you got all these notes and letters that you written to your last letter to your wife, to your kids, to your mama, your daddy, and you got them already written up in an envelope sealed and everything, and you just waiting for your time to come. So whenever your time comes, your boys, your people, your soldiers, your comrades, man, they'll take these letters and get them to your family. What's up with you, Eileen? And so here's Jonathan pleading with David. Jonathan's daddy is the king of Israel, and he is pleading with David, his friend, to look out for my family, to watch over my children, to protect my children. It's a trip because I talk to so many black sheep, and man, we feel as though our own family has turned their back on us. We feel as though, man, I'm alienated from my own flesh and blood. Man, I'm cut off from my own, and I got homies, I got partners in the streets. Man, they love me more than my own family. They're closer to me than my own kin. They love me more than my own brother. They love me more than my own sister. They love me more than my own raggedy, ratchet ass, stanky ass mama and daddy. Oh, we going in today. We going in. Stay with me. I promise you, we going somewhere today. And so here's Jonathan, the son of the king, pleading with his friend. Man, watch over my children. Protect my children. He didn't go to his daddy. He didn't go to the slaves and to the servants and to the soldiers that were at his command. He went to his homie, David. Man, bro, you know I love you. Bro, you know I got your back. Bro, I know you got my back. Man, if anything should ever happen to me, man, don't let anything happen to my kid. Don't let anything happen to my son. David, I'm giving you the best of all I got. I'm giving you all that I got. If something happened to man, protect my baby boy. Don't let nothing happen to my son. That's all I got. That's all I got is my son. David, the best of me is in my baby boy. The best of me, my lineage, my legacy is wrapped up in my son. Please don't let nothing happen to my baby boy. I see the writing on the wall. We're going to go to war. My daddy's going to die. I'm going to die. David, please don't let nothing happen to my son. And David promises, I got you. I love you. You the brother I never had. You're the best friend in the world. Man, I love you. I'm never going to let anything happen to your baby boy. That's my nephew. I got him. Stay with me. We talking about black sheeps being crippled. And so as time transpires, war kicks out in Israel. Saul is killed. Jonathan is killed. Nurse, Jonathan's little son, is about 5 years old. Mephibosheth. Mephibosheth, that's us. Chosen ones, we're Mephibosheth. We've been Mephibosheth. Stay with me. So what happens to Mephibosheth? He's this little 5-year-old boy. And the nurse knows that, man, war is breaking out. The king is dead. Jonathan is dead. I gotta protect the next in line, and that's Mephibosheth. Mephibosheth don't know that he's king right now. Mephibosheth don't understand who he is right now. And so the nurse tried to do a good thing. The nurse tried to protect the heir to the throne. The nurse picks up the baby boy who's 5 years, and she's trying to run, to flee, to save his life. And in the process of trying to save his life, she didn't mean him any harm. She loved him and was trying to protect him. And in the process of loving him, in the process of trying to protect him, oh, that's a word right there. Sometimes, chosen ones, we get hurt. We get fucked up. And they don't mean us any harm. But in the process of trying to love us, we get hurt. What am I saying? In the process of trying to save this 5-year-old boy from getting killed, the nurse is trying to run with him. And she stumbles and drops the baby boy. And in the process of dropping him, she damaged both of his ankles, both of his feet. Talking about being crippled. The boy didn't do anything to deserve being crippled. The nurse didn't mean to dog him out. But she fumbled him. She fumbled the heir to the throne. She fumbled the next king in command, in charge. She fumbled him. Not intentionally. She fumbled him in the process of trying to save him. She fumbled him in the process of trying to love him. Chosen ones, black sheep. Man, so many of us have been fumbled. So many of us have been dropped. They dropped us. What's up with you, Kate? They dropped us. They fumbled us. It wasn't even their intention to fumble us. It wasn't their intention to hurt us. But they dropped us. And we got hurt in the process. We became crippled in the process of trying to be rescued, of trying to be loved. And so many of us, we have fallen in love with people who have fumbled us. We have fallen in love with people who broke our hearts. We have fallen in love with people who walked out of our lives. We have fallen in love with people who've abandoned us and rejected us and dogged us the fuck out. Why? Not because they did it intent, but because they had unresolved issues. They hurt us. Black sheep, you've been hurt. You've been crushed. You've been crushed. And many of us today, this happened years ago. And here's the trick. Mephibosheth could never walk normal again. Mephibosheth was never able to run after he was dropped. Mephibosheth was crippled from that time for the rest of his life. He remained crippled until the day he died. Crippled. Black sheeps. How have you been crippled? Who crippled you? Who dropped you? Who fumbled you? I started off the conversation today talking about how me and the queen are no longer together. Sometimes people fumble you because they're not capable of handling the responsibility and the power of being with you. Sometimes people fumble you, they drop you, they abandon you, they reject you. Not because you're bad, but because they feel unworthy. They feel that, damn, this person is going to come into an understanding of who they are and why the fuck they with me. I don't bring shit to the table. They're going to leave me. They're going to walk out of my life. And so let me drop them while I'm in control. Let me lead them while I can hold my head up and I can blame them. When the truth is, I feel inadequate. When the truth is, being with them is overwhelming. Being with them is too heavy. I love them. I adore them. But being with them is a constant trigger for me. Because being with them means I got to deal with my shit. What's up with you, Stevie? And I don't know how to deal with my shit. Being with them means I got to acknowledge that I got some fucked up ways. Being with them, they ain't doing anything wrong, but there's their life, their presence makes me feel some kind of way about me. I'm watching them speak life into all these people. I'm watching them do whoop de whoop de whoop, and I can't bring nothing to the table. And I can't understand how the hell they do what they do. And the truth is, if somebody prettier comes along, if somebody more powerful comes along, if somebody a little more anointing comes along, if somebody that brings something more to the table comes along, are they going to leave me for that other person? And so they can't handle it because they don't want to do the work. And so they end the relationship. They can't handle it. And so they drop you. Man, happy birthday, Stevie. What's up with you, Scorpio lady? Man, we have to understand that everybody that fumbled you, everybody that quote unquote dogged you out, everybody that mistreated you, everybody that made you feel like you was an outsider, that you was the black sheep of the family, that you was unwanted, that you was unloved, they fumbled you. They dropped the ball. And truth is, many of them, they see you blowing up. They see you growing up. They see the blessings in your life. They see the anointing on your life. They see all the things that you're doing. And they see, damn, this motherfucker didn't just crumble and fall somewhere and just die and just hide out. You know what I mean? Because there's so many people that have gone through less than you. and they've given up on life. There's so many people that have gone through less than you, and they're strung out on dope. They've lost their minds. And they see and know all the shit that you've gone through. And yet here you are. They see that you're still trying to do the positive thing, the righteous thing. You're still trying to be this beacon of hope, of love, of joy. You're this light for the world. And they can't understand it. And so what many of them do, they try to diminish your light. They try to talk about what you did 15, 20 years ago. They want to talk about your imperfections as though they don't have any. They want to talk about the fact that you've been crippled. You can't walk like everybody else. We've been crippled. Just because you've been crippled does not mean you've been destroyed. Just because you've been crippled does not mean that your purpose comes to an end. And here's the trick. Mephibosheth. I can only imagine the emotional trauma that he was going through. Stay with me. The Bible never talks about his mama, not to my recollection. Man, Kate, bless you. Thank you for that donation. Here's Mephibosheth. Mephibosheth's grandpa is king of Israel. Mephibosheth's daddy is next in line to be king of Israel. Mephibosheth, as a 5-year-old boy, lost his grandpa. Mephibosheth, as a 5-year-old boy, lost his daddy. Mephibosheth, as a 5-year-old boy, is crippled. Crippled. Not in one feet, but in both of them. Both of his feet was damaged. I can only imagine the emotional trauma that this little boy is carrying. I can only imagine the pain and the loss this boy's carrying. To know that my grandpa was just murdered, my daddy was just murdered, and my caretaker, this nurse, this person who's supposed to have my back, this person who's supposed to be nurturing and caring and protective of me, she picks me up in haste, trying to get away. And she drops me. And because she dropped me, I'm damaged for life. Because she dropped me, I'm broken. Black sheep, many of us, the great majority of us, if not all of us, we've been broken. We've been made to feel like we were broken. Here's Mephibosheth. He lost his family. He's in hiding. He's in hiding. Not because he poses a threat. He's crippled in both of his feet. He couldn't fight anybody if he wanted to. He didn't pose a threat to anyone because he'd been damaged, because he'd been crippled. And many of us, we've been so damaged emotionally. We've been so broken emotionally We're no longer in the fight. We're hiding out. We've given up on our purpose. We've given up. We're just going through the motions, hoping nobody recognizes me, hoping nobody sees me. I'm tired. I lost my grandpa in the fight. I lost my daddy in the fight, and I can't even fight if I wanted to. I don't have the ability to fight because that's been stripped from me. And so many of us as black sheeps, we've been made to feel like we've been stripped of our power, stripped of our identity, stripped of our purpose. It's a crazy thing. You could go through something in life that fucks you up so bad, it takes everything out of you. You could go through something in life so devastating that it cripples you for the rest of your life. So many people, man, they've gotten their heart broke so bad that they've given up on ever finding love again. There's been people that's been so hurt, so broke, so fucked up over a relationship that they pushed everybody away. That they now have become the abuser. They're now abusing people because they've been abused and they don't want to be abused again. I know so many women who have been abused and dogged the fuck out by guys that they'll never date another guy. They'll only date women now. They'll only be in a relationship with women now. They'll never let another guy touch them because they've been broke, because they've been fumbled, because somebody dropped the ball and somebody dropped them. How have you been crippled? How have you been crippled? And see, Mephibosheth, his life, his story, is a metaphor to us. See, because he was crippled physically in both of his feet. We've been crippled emotionally. We've been crippled emotionally, and it's fucked us up. We don't trust women anymore. We don't trust dudes anymore. We don't give a fuck about family anymore. We don't trust people anymore. I've talked to so many women, guys too, that was dating somebody, that was married to somebody, and their friend slept with their man. Their best friend, their sister slept with their man. Their homie, their brother, their daddy slept with their woman. And it's fucked them up. As it should. That's a devastating thing to have to experience. That's an emotionally draining and fucked up thing to experience when your best friend, when your sibling, or one of your parents, or one of your aunties or uncles does this to you. They betray your trust like this. They violate you like this. It's hurt. It's hurtful. And as black sheeps, we came here to go through these things. We came here to grow through these things. We came here for this. And get back to Mephibosheth. Here's the trip. The story of Jonathan's son, the heir to the throne. This crippled little boy loses his daddy, loses his grandpa, and he loses his identity. He lost his identity because he had been hurt. Black sheeps, we've lost our identity because we have been hurt. We've lost our identity because somebody fumbled us. We've lost our identity because somebody dropped us. Because somebody couldn't handle us. The weight was too much for them to handle. The pressure was too great for them. And so they dropped you. Not on purpose, they just dropped you. And you've been hurt. You've been damaged. You've been scarred ever since. Black sheep, we grow up and we're scarred because somebody fumbled us, because somebody treated us like shit, because somebody dogged us the fuck out. And here's Mephibosheth, who is the rightful heir to the throne, who no longer lived in the palace, who no longer lived like he was an heir to the throne. Because he had been crippled. Because he had been hurt. See, there's a trip because we go through some stuff, black sheeps, chosen ones, star seeds, children of God, children of the Most High, sons of God, rainbow warriors. We go through star seeds, we go through stuff, and we lose our identity because of the pain and the trauma we've experienced. And so many of us, the easy thing to do is to take on the victim mentality. Mephibosheth didn't do anything wrong to deserve being hurt. And yet he was hurt. He was scarred for life. And it's easy once you've been scarred like that, once you've been hurt like that, it's easy to say, damn, nobody loves me. Damn, nobody gives a fuck about me. Damn, I really ain't shit. And I can imagine Mephibosheth. He's in hiding for his life. Can you imagine that type of pressure? Can you imagine hiding for your life, wondering if today's the day that my enemies, they're not even I don't even hate these people. I don't have any ill will or thoughts towards these people. But for whatever reason, they want me dead. For whatever reason, they want to destroy me. For whatever reason, they want to tear me down. For whatever reason, they want to take me out. Why? I never did anything wrong to these people, and yet they want to take me out the game. Can you imagine living with that type of pressure? You're already crippled. You've already been hurt. You've already been damaged and broken. And the fear of, is today the day? Constantly looking over your shoulder, never trusting anybody because, man, the enemy could be lurking right around the corner. Never trusting anybody. Why? Because you could be the enemy sent to destroy me. So I can't be your friend. I can't be in a relationship with you. I told you that we talked about Samson and Delilah a week or so ago. And Samson fell in love with this young lady. Beautiful young lady. Never even knowing that she was hired servant. Never even understanding that she was an enemy sent to get some information about him so that he could be destroyed. Samson's so in love. Delilah is so in tune to her mission. Her mission is to seek information to destroy him. I don't give a damn how great the sex is. I don't give a damn how powerful he is. I don't give a damn how much he tell me he love me and what he's offering me and what to do. My mission is to seek and destroy him. And so here's Mephibosheth living under the fear of, man, I can't have anybody close to me because I don't know if they're sent to destroy me. And black sheeps. That's how the great majority of us live. That's how the great majority of us, man, that's how we think. We want to be happy, but we don't know how to be happy. We want to be free, but we've been broken. We've been crushed. We've been dropped. To no fault of our own. And sometimes the truth is, we made mistakes. And because we made a mistake, somebody else, the people that we love, the people that we value, they dog us out because we wasn't perfect. And so we acknowledge our role in the situation, but we can't understand how they could fuck us up so bad. They can't understand. We can't understand how could they be so cruel. I'm a black sheeps being crippled. And see, the trip is so many of us, And so many people that I've talked to, man, they got money. They have all the material things in life they need, but they're crippled. They're crippled in their relationships. They're damaged when it comes to relationships. They're broken when it comes to relationships. That's the area of their life where they're crippled when it comes to finding their love, when it comes to finding and experiencing true love. It's as though there's a curse on that area of their life. It's as though somebody did some voodoo, a hex, a spell on that area of their life. How can everything else be great, but this one area be so fucking fucked up? You know what I mean? This one area be so damn bad. This one area make me feel like I'm such a fucking failure. This one area make me feel like I'm so fucking fucked up. I'm good financially. I'm good with my job. I'm good with my savings and investments. And man, I travel and I do whoop doo doo. I'm just looking for that person to travel with. I'm just looking for that person to share my money with, my stuff with. And I can't find that person because I've been damaged in relationships. We're going in. We just getting started. Stay with me. I'm going somewhere. And some of us, we have relationships, but we have no money. We have relationships and love, but we're broken financially. We're devastated financially. And so we can't do all the things that we want to do. We can't express and show this person what we really want to show them. And that makes us feel insignificant. That makes us feel like a fucking failure. That makes us feel like we're not a fucking man. I'm not a woman. I'm not a boss. I'm not a queen. I'm not a king because I don't have my own house. I don't have my own transportation. I don't have money saved up. And we go through this list of what we ain't got. And we can't really appreciate what we do have. We can't appreciate the fact that God has given us a beautiful being to share our lives with because we're looking at everything else that we don't have. And so we're crippled. We're crippled. So many of us, man, we don't have the education that we think we need. We don't have the education that we really want. And so we've lost our voice. We don't speak from our gut, from our intuition, because we've lost it. And because we don't think we're smart enough. We don't think nobody's going to listen to us. We don't think nobody values our opinion. We don't think nobody values the wisdom and the knowledge and the understanding that we have. Because in the past, people have told us we ain't shit. People have made us feel like our opinions were insignificant. And so we stopped talking. What's up with you, AJ? We stopped sharing. We've stopped speaking life into ourselves. We've stopped speaking life into the lives of others because we've been crippled. We were crippled. How have you been crippled? In what ways are you living a crippled life? Are you living a crippled life because maybe you don't have the physical strength that you need? Maybe you feel like you're crippled because your body is broken with sicknesses, back pains, headaches, migraines, cramps, messed up feet, messed up vision. You don't look the way you want to look. Has that crippled you? Maybe you're obese and now you feel some kind of way about yourself. And it's negative. And that has you feeling crippled. That has you feeling stuck. That has you feeling trapped. Maybe you're beautiful and you're looking around and you see all these people that don't have the body you have, that don't have the beauty you have, but yet they have a man, yet they have a woman, and they appear to be happy. They have kids. And you're wondering why my biological clock is ticking. I'm in my 20s, I'm in my 30s, I'm in my 40s, and I've never had a man. As far as I've never been married. Nobody's ever thought worthy of me to marry me. Nobody's ever thought worthy of me to let's have a family. And I'm looking at these motherfuckers that don't look as good as I do, that don't have what I have, and they have a man, and they have kids, and whoop de whoop de whoop. And I'm looking at my life, and I'm like, why? What the fuck is wrong with me? Because I've been crippled. And the truth is, black sheep. Here we go. We have been crippled by the opinions of other motherfuckers. We've been crippled by the opinions of our grandparents. We've been crippled by the opinions of our parents. We've been crippled by the parents of our siblings, our cousins, our aunties, our uncles. We've been crippled by motherfuckers that couldn't handle the pressure of being with us. We've been crippled by the opinions of motherfuckers that couldn't even recognize our value or see our worth. We've been crippled by teachers that didn't think we were shit. We've been crippled by people that didn't think we were going anywhere. We've been crippled by people that didn't think we had anything of value to offer life or humanity. We've been crippled by people that told us you would never be married. Nobody's ever going to want to marry you. Nobody's ever going to want to be with you. You're never going to have money. You're always going to be broke. You're always going to be lonely. You're always going to have to work a dead end job. And that's crippled us. It crippled us. Black sheep, man, chosen ones, man, we have to remember who we are. We have to remember why we are here. Poor Mephibosheth. He didn't do anything wrong. I'm sure Mephibosheth felt like, damn, I wish I was born in a different family. Damn, I wish I didn't have the weight of the world on my shoulder like this. I wish my daddy was different. I wish my mama was different because then I wouldn't have to go through the bullshit that I had to go through. I wish I could have had a normal childhood. I wish I could have been outside playing and not feared for my life. I wish I could have just been outside and enjoying life and enjoying people and never wondering and been in fear of being sexually molested. And because you've been molested, now you distrust people. Now you got this weight on you and you can't play like other kids play because you've been fucked up, because you've been damaged. And a lot of people don't see how you've been damaged. A lot of people don't even understand that you've been fumbled. A lot of people don't even understand that somebody dropped you. See, the trick with Mephibosheth is people could see how he'd been hurt. Stay with me. People could see his brokenness. People could see that he was damaged. When it's emotional, emotional is far worse than physical. See, emotional trauma, emotional damage can't really be seen. And so motherfuckers looking at you sideways. Why the fuck ain't you got your shit together? And motherfucker, you 40, 50 years old. How come you ain't got no fucking woman? How come you can't keep a fucking relationship? How come you ain't got no fucking job? How come you ain't got your own fucking place? How come you ain't got no fucking car? How come you da da da? How come you da da da? And they got all this bullshit to say because they don't see how you've been broken. They don't see how you've been fumbled. They don't see how somebody dropped you. And so, black sheep, we look like we're crazy. We look like we're really fucked up. Why do I think like this? And what do and your family and the people that's fucked you over, they'll make you believe that you're the fucking problem. You're crazy for being the way you are. You're crazy for thinking the way you do. Because you've been broken. Because you've been crippled. Because you've been crippled. And so now they're blaming you because you were crippled. They're blaming you because somebody dropped you. They're blaming you because nobody saw your worth. Man, being a black sheep ain't easy. Mephibosheth was a black sheep. He was heir to the throne. He was supposed to be a king. And he lived in fear. He lived in hiding. Crippled, broken, because somebody dropped him. Because somebody dropped him. He never became king. Talking about being born in the wrong family. Talking about growing up in a toxic ass fucking family. We came here to heal. We came here to be a beacon of love, a beacon of hope, But in order for you to become a beacon of love, a beacon of light, a beacon of l- hope and encouragement, all that, man, you have to understand who you are. You have to understand how you've been damaged, how you've been crippled, how you've been dropped, how you've been hurt. Not so that you can point the finger at others for fumbling you or dropping you. In order for you to grow, you have to first acknowledge the fact that you need to grow. In order for you to heal, you have to first acknowledge the fact that I'm hurt. I'm hurt. I've been crippled in this area. I've been crippled financially. I've been crippled emotionally. I've been crippled physically. I've been crippled spiritually. I've been crippled when it comes to love. I've been crippled when it comes to trust. I've been crippled. You can't heal until you acknowledge the fact that you need to heal. Man, we have to grow up. We have to grow up. And here's true. Going back to Mephibosheth. Years later, David, David's king, and he's gotten the tribe, he's gotten the nation at peace now. Everything's falling in place. And years later, again, remember, Mephibosheth, his grandfather was murdered when he was 5. His father was murdered when he was 5. Mephibosheth was crippled emotionally because he lost his grandfather, the king. He lost his daddy at 5. And now he's a man without a family. Now, as this 5-year-old kid, he's a black sheep. He doesn't have a family. He's in hiding from people who want to kill him because of who his daddy was, because of who his grandpa was. They want to take him out. And so now he grows up and he's a young man. He's a man now, grown ass man. And David's sitting there on a throne one day. And David's thinking about his friend, Jonathan, and how much Jonathan meant to him. Jonathan was his best friend. They loved each other. And the thought comes to David's mind, man, Jonathan asked me to look out for his kids. Jonathan asked me to look out for his family, to protect his family. I'm now king and I have all power. I owe my friend a debt. I owe my friend that. Because when the king came to kill me, my friend came and he warned me of his daddy's plan. My friend came and told me that his own father sought to kill me. His own father was trying to kill me, trying to take me out. My friend warned me, allowing me time to escape and to run for my life. And now that the king, Saul, is gone, I have no enemies. 。 . 。 . 。 . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . black sheep, chosen ones. You have to understand how protected you are. You have to understand you're chosen. David had been chosen by God to be king. The king didn't like that. King Saul didn't like that. And so the king wanted to kill David before he could ever reach his full potential, before he could ever become king of Israel. Divine timing, divine providence. There's always a ram in the bush. God always has somebody that has your back. God always has somebody that's looking out for you. God always has somebody that's going to try to protect and preserve you. And so Jonathan looks out for David, gives David warning. Man, get out, get out, get out, get out, get out. My daddy's coming. And he got the best soldiers with him. Get out, get out. He's coming, and he's going to take your head off. David, I love you. You got to go. And David's remembering his friend who spared his life. If it hadn't been for Jonathan looking out for David, David would have been dead. Jonathan's daddy would have killed David. And so here's David, King David. He's remembering where he'd been. He's remembering all the things he's experienced. He's remembering his best friend. He's mourning his loss. He's mourning the loss of his friend. And so he asks, man, is there anybody of Jonathan's lineage that's still alive? Does Jonathan have any heirs that's alive that I may protect, that I may bring into the palace? Stay with me. I'm going somewhere. Think about this, family. Mephibosheth is the rightful heir to the throne. His grandpa is king. His daddy is supposed to be king. Mephibosheth is supposed to become king. But he's been damaged. He's been crippled. And he's on the run. He's hiding for his life. He's on the run, but he's crippled. He's crippled in both feet. And David sends message. I want anybody to find any heir of Jonathan, my brother, my homie, my boy. Bring him to me so that I may protect him. Bring him to me so that I may provide for him. Mephibosheth, he hears that King David wants him to come to the palace. Mephibosheth has been running for his life since he was 5 years old, not trusting people because they wanted him dead because of his family. That's a hard thing to live with. Knowing that people want to take you out, not because you've done anything to them, not because you fucked them over. That's a message for you, chosen ones. That's a message for you. But sometimes people want to fuck you up, and it ain't got shit to do with you. Sometimes people dog you the fuck out, and it ain't got shit to do with you. Sometimes people come after you, and it ain't got shit to do with you. And so here's Mephibosheth, living in fear, wondering, it's the day my enemies find me. I'm not in a place where I can fight. I'm not in a place where I can defend myself because I've been crippled. And so here Mephibosheth hears that King David wants him in the palace. Now I can only imagine the thoughts going through his mind. My daddy and my grandpa wanted King David dead. And now the King David is wanting me to come to the temple or wanting me to come to the palace. Does King David want to kill me too? Is King David after me too? I'm already broken and fucked up and damaged and crippled. Does the king want to take me out too? So I can imagine the war going through his mind. I'm not going. Don't tell nobody about me. Let me just live my life in poverty. Let me just live my life beneath my means. Stay with me. I'm going somewhere. Let me live my life hiding out. Let me live my life in darkness. Let me live my life just fucked up, never experiencing the joy and happiness that life can bring. Let me live my life lonely and frustrated, just thinking about what could have been. And now, years later, here's King David inviting me to the kingdom, inviting me to the palace. Black sheep. We've been made to feel like black sheep. We've been made to feel like we're not good enough. We've been made to feel like we ain't shit. Nobody wants us. Nobody loves us. Nobody values us. I'm crippled. I'm damaged. No woman is ever going to fall in love with me. No woman is ever going to want me as her man because I've been crippled. I've been damaged. I know loneliness is my lot in life. And so he struggles with, do I stay here living beneath my means? Do I stay here living beneath my calling, my purpose? I was heir to the throne. Now I'm hiding out, barely making it. I can't work. I can't make money because I've been crippled. And now the king wants me to come to the palace. Why does the king want me in the palace? What do I have to offer? Who the fuck am I to be in the palace? Mephibosheth agrees, and he goes to the palace. And David gives him a hug. And David tells Mephibosheth, and he tells everybody in the whole palace, I decree as King David, as ruler of the land, as the most powerful motherfucker walking, that Mephibosheth will live out his life in peace. That Mephibosheth He ain't gonna eat at the table with the servants and the slaves. Mephibosheth, where I eat as king of Israel, Mephibosheth will have a place at my table. Mephibosheth, he's going to eat what kings eat. He's going to sit where kings sit. He's going to talk and be amongst kings. I don't give a damn if he's been broken. I don't give a damn if he's been damaged. I don't give a damn if he's been crippled. He's going to sit at the king's table. And I decree to you, I don't give a damn how many times they broke your heart and what you've lost. You're going to live like a king. You're going to live like the queen you are. You came here for this purpose. Stop living beneath your means. Stop settling for the fucking scraps when you could sit at the king's table. You living beneath your means, and you came here to live in the fucking palace. You came here to walk in the palace, to sleep in the palace. You running around in fear. You running around not speaking your power, not understanding your power, not speaking your truth or speaking the truth because you've been damaged. And so you don't understand who you are, and so your self-esteem is shot. And so you don't even believe that you're capable of ever walking back into the palace, let alone living in the palace. And so you're remembering as this little kid, Mephibosheth was remembering, man, I remember ripping and running and playing in the palace. I remember running up to my grandpa and sitting on his lap as he sat on the throne. I remember all the people that were servants and soldiers and just all of this stuff. I remember the food and the spread and the people that came to entertain us. I remember the teachers that I had. I remember all the people that bowed down to my grandpa, all the people that were servants to my daddy. I remember how they held me in such high esteem. And now look at me broken and crushed and crippled and hiding because I've been damaged. Because I'm a black sheep. Because people want my head. Because people won't fall in love with me. People won't get to know me. And so Mephibosheth, he goes from hiding, from living beneath his means, from eating scraps and just barely getting through, to back to the palace. He goes back to the palace where he was always meant to be, amongst royalty. Mephibosheth had forgotten that he was royalty. Man, you guys, at the beginning, you guys, my amethyst crystals, man, that I always have with me. Have an amethyst in my wrist. I always have amethyst with me. Why? Because it's a reminder to me that I'm fucking royalty. And it don't matter what anybody else say. It don't matter what anybody else do. It don't matter that they dropped me. It don't matter that they fumbled me. It don't matter that they broke my heart and dogged me and what they do. It don't matter. I'm still motherfucking royalty. And I don't need your fucking opinion or your approval for me to be royalty. It is what it is. It's going to be what it's going to be. I'm royalty, whether you like it or not, whether you accept it or not. I'm royalty. You're royalty. Stop acting like a fucking peasant. Stop thinking like a fucking peasant. I know they hurt you. I know they crushed your spirit. I know you're crippled and you're damaged, but you're fucking royalty. Remember who you are. Here's the trick. Mephibosheth. You can imagine, damn, I wish I grew up in a different family. Damn, because of who my grandpa was, because of who my daddy was, people want to kill me. Now, Mephibosheth, because of who my daddy was, they're bringing me back to the palace. Because of who my daddy was, I could walk around the palace. I could go where I want to in the palace. Because of who my daddy was, I eat what the king eats. Because of who my daddy was, I sit at the table with royalty. Because of who my daddy was, David gave Mephibosheth some land, a house. Mephibosheth was blessed because of who his daddy was. And see, as a child growing up, Mephibosheth had to believe I'm cursed because of who my daddy was. Now, I'm blessed. Not because of what I've done. I'm blessed because of who my daddy was. Your ancestors. Just because your raggedy ass mama don't want shit to do with you, just because your raggedy ass daddy don't want shit to do with you, don't mean that your ancestors haven't chosen you. Just because your raggedy ass siblings, sisters and brothers and aunties and uncles and cousins don't want to fuck with you, like, don't mean that your ancestors didn't pick you to come here to break these fucking generational curses. It don't mean that they didn't choose you out of all the nappy head fucking cousins running around, out of all the nappy headed fucking aunties and uncles running around with their ratchet ass. Your ancestors down through the lineage handpicked you to come here to break the family curse. And so you had to go through that black sheep stage. You had to go through that being crushed. You had to go through being dropped and fumbled and rejected and abandoned. But that doesn't mean that you're not royalty. That doesn't mean that you don't belong in the palace. You're royalty. You've always been royalty. But like Mephibosheth, his grandpa died, his daddy died. Because of his circumstances, he was dropped and fumbled. He forgot who he was. He forgot who he was. And so he looked at his life and he based his life off of his circumstances. Not even understanding that he belonged in the palace. Not even understanding that he was going to be able to go back to the palace of his ancestors. He was going to be able to sit at the king's table again, just like he used to as a little boy. He's come full circle. He came full circle. I straight out to share with you, man, you were the black sheep. You were the generational curse breakers. You were the chosen ones. And so they dropped you, they fumbled you, they did what they did. And you lost your perspective. You lost your way. And you lived in fear, anxiety, hate, self hate, self destruction, self sabotage. You stopped believing in you. You stopped being, or you stopped believing in your ancestors. And so we've lived like Mephibosheth on the outskirts, hiding, thinking that everybody wanted to destroy us, thinking that everybody wanted to kill us. And here's King David looking for you to bring you back into the palace, to bring you back into your place of royalty. But you can't, just like Mephibosheth, he was like, man, do I go to the palace because does King David want to kill me? Or do I just keep hiding out over here, living beneath my knees? Da, da, da. There's going to come a time where you're going to have to make a decision. Do I stay on this pattern? Do I stay on this path of living beneath my means, accepting mediocrity, accepting scraps when I could walk into the fucking palace and eat the best food in the whole fucking country? Do I keep accepting this garbage, this food? I'm used to it. It's okay. But I could go into the palace and have the best chefs, the best cooks prepare me a king's meal. I can eat like a king. I can live like a king. Or I could keep doing this shit right here. The choice is yours. It's always been yours. Just because they fumbled you, just because they dropped you, doesn't mean that somebody doesn't love you. Just because they dropped you, just because they didn't want you, just because they hurt you, doesn't mean that somebody doesn't want to pick you up and spoil the fuck out of you. Just because you've gone through all the hell you got doesn't mean that somebody doesn't want to pick you up and bring you into their palace and make you their queen, make you their king. But you can't allow what's happened in the past to keep determining what's going to happen in the future. Being crippled. Being crippled. Every single one of us has been crippled. Every single one of us has been crippled. Just because you've been crippled doesn't mean that you can't live like a king. Just because you've been crippled doesn't mean that you can't reach your full potential. You're going to have to make a choice. You're going to have to make a choice. Do I keep living like a peasant when I can live like a king? Do I keep staying homeless and out on these streets, ducking and dodging and hiding when I could hobble my ass around in the fucking palace with my head held high, The choice is yours. And the truth is, it's always been yours. It's always been yours. It's not an easy life to live as a chosen one, as a black sheep. It's hard. It's challenging. I get that. I get that. Man. But you can live it however you choose to. Source, God the Most High. Man, your wishes are commanded. You can live the life of your dreams, or you can live the life of your fears. Don't allow what you become accustomed to keep you stuck there. Don't allow what you've gotten used to keep you trapped right there. Not when you can live like a king. Not when you can live like a queen. Man, I hope and pray that I said something to bless you, to encourage you, to challenge you, to speak life into you. Man, moderators, we're going to meet up right after this. Man, family, I'm going to bring this to a close. Tomorrow we will be again on at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll talk tomorrow about, man, the difference of our thinking, of how we think, of how we think. What you think is everything. What you think is everything. It's everything. It determines everything. What you think. Man. Then, Father, I come to you. I thank you. I praise you. And I magnify you. Father, I thank you for the moderators. I thank you for Libra Love. I thank you for Eileen. I thank you for Paul. I thank you for all those that chimed in on the chats. I thank you for Kate. Man, Father, I ask that you just continue to bless the tribe members. I ask that you just continue to look over them. I ask that you just continue to reveal yourself to them. Father, I ask that you show them their power, show them their purpose, show them how much authority that they really have over their life, oh God. Show them, oh God, that they can have the life of their dreams if they're willing to put in the work, if they're willing to deal with and acknowledge their issues and to heal and grow beyond those, oh God. Father, I ask that you just continue to just look upon our nations. Father, I ask that you just continue to reveal yourself, reveal ourselves to each and every one of us. To those that are going through some physical pain and suffering, those of us that are going through financial problems, those of us that are struggling, trying to find a job, a house, whatever it is. Father, I ask that you just bless. I ask that you just make a way. And these and other blessings we ask. Man, until we meet again, family, I thank you. I love you. I honor each and every one of you for being a member of this tribe, for spending your Saturday morning here with us. Man, namaste. The God in me, the light, the love in me sees, recognizes, acknowledges, and cherishes the love, the light, the God in each and every one of you. Happy healing. Peace.